Hello, everybody, and welcome to Left Hand, Right Brain. I hope this podcast finds you well, and I know I say it every episode, but I say it because for all your likes and subscribes, your rates and reviews, appreciate. And if you're liking what you hear on this Left Hand, Right Brain podcast, you'll probably like all the other podcasts under the LHRB banner, like Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding with host Jen and Mel, or Help Me I'm Scared, another podcast about horror films with Katie Bowman. You can find all those wherever you get podcasts or by going to lefthandrightbrainpod.com. And you can also find the backlogs of all the JDJOs, the Appetites, the Live Hand Right Brains. We're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the first JDJO. I think that was done in July of 2013. So, wow, big milestone. If you're watching on video, you can see them coming at you from my backyard. I thought I'd get the magic hour here. It's sunset here in Lakewood, Colorado. But, had to turn the lights on. We have some nice string lights in the backyard. So, and you could see all the hail damage that happened here to our garden. My wife very disappointed by that. We had some crazy hail the other day. I mean, like mountains of hail. It looked like it snowed outside. It's nuts. We are truly in the end times. No. Onwards and upwards. We're really gonna just stay positive on this podcast because it's with returning guests Arthur Rawe and Kevin Batstone, the Discussion Combustion boys, the Happy Friday crew, 2/3 of the Happy Friday crew, I guess I should say. We didn't get John X on, but maybe in the future. If you know, they're also part of the Mile High Life Network, your source for the dopest podcasts in and around Denver, Colorado. You can find those by going to milehighlife.com. And we're getting all the ambient noises. There's a lot of firecrackers going off. It's been very thundery and lightning. My dog hates it. It's not good. It's not a good season for my dog, but you can hear the plane. Maybe now recording outside doesn't seem as good of an idea. But, it's part of it. We're doing something. I want to mix up the visuals here with the visual medium we got going. Anywho, got the Discussion Combustion boys on. Had a great conversation. We get into a lot of stuff, the views of some of the people on this podcast aren't necessarily my views, things like that. We get into some gun talk, Second Amendment rights stuff. We go all over the place. So I hope no one's triggered with that, or I guess trigger warning if that triggers any of you guys out there. I just want to make sure you, dear listener, know what's coming up, what to expect. Had a great conversation with these guys. They're pros, they're podcast guys here in town. So it's always nice to have podcasters on because it's just a fun, flowing conversation because they know how to do it. Thank you so much, guys, for being on. Definitely check out their podcast, Happy Friday, or Discussion Combustion. You can get those wherever you get podcasts, or on YouTube. You can follow them on all the socials, Discussion Combustion. And I think Kevin even has another podcast called Mash the Gas. That's a NASCAR podcast that seems to be doing very well. So definitely check that out if you're into NASCAR, or if you're looking to get into it, or you just want to support Kevin. All right, thanks so much for listening, everybody. I'm done with the intro. Let's get to this week's LHRB podcast, part of Mile High Life, produced by Left Hand Right Brain Productions. Got this nice scotch that you guys got me last time, and I was kind of on a, I don't want to drink kick before.
And you're looking good, man. Your skin's looking healthy.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. People mention my skin a lot.
Do you use like your lotion, or do you use face lotion?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have a daytime lotion that's like a, just a SPF.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I've recently gotten a night one. But I forget to use it most nights, to be honest. But, I'll do whatever, it's like flossing.
Whatever you're doing, it's working for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean that.
Well, I thought we'd have some nice different cups, a variety.
That's
for us
fun.
here. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
So, yeah, here you go.
What a,
I know you wanted the fancy.
what a
cup.
gentleman.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
This is a
I'll
good
give you the fancy cup.
Oh,
a 10-year
JD
scotch here.
is a class act.
Ooh, that's good. Got a good nose on it.
So JD, you've been
It's
been
a
podcasting.
11-year scotch.
It's
you're
now
saying.
11
Sorry,
year.
Arthur. I just wanted to.
Oh no,
get
you're
that
good. You're good.
11-year because I've saved it.
Yeah, you
For
saved it,
about
so it's
another
got a
year.
little bit more age on it. Is this the first time you're tasting it? Or have you?
No, I've had. Yeah, my wife and I think the drunk wedding gals
Oh,
have
yeah.
popped it open every
Okay.
now and then.
I saw that show just hit a milestone, didn't it?
Well, that's strong stuff.
Yeah, it's smoky. It's smoky.
Yeah, it's like a barbecue taste.
That's actually pretty good.
It's like
It's like if you left a whiskey out with the top off at a campfire, and it just got real smoked out.
yeah.
I kind of like it.
It's good though, man.
Do you kind of like it? You like the?
I'm not usually for the smoky, and honestly,
Yeah.
I'm more of a bourbon guy, right? I
Okay.
love me some bourbons, and I do like the rye a lot as well. Most whiskeys, but I will say that I'm not usually a Scotch guy, because I'm not for the smoky, like the mezcal type of smoky type of stuff or whatever.
Mhm. Well, mezcal is tequila.
But it's still smoky.
It's got some smoke. Yeah,
Yeah.
But this is actually delicious.
it is.
I think these are the best glasses to drink it out of because
Good choice.
it's
on that.
open up top. It can breathe. It's got a. Yeah, it smells like you could run a car with it. I mean,
Yeah,
this
you
is
could run
some
something
strong.
with it.
Yeah, you could throw this in in a motorcycle as you're riding it.
Yeah,
To keep the fuel going.
yeah.
I saw that in a Van Damme movie one time. He's
This is-
like he was in the desert.
This is the type of thing that you drink when you're about to play somebody in Smash Brothers,
Jesus
and you really need to step it up.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of things with this, really. I mean, if you're having a bad day for having a good day, you drink a little 10-year age scotch, and it's a great day.
Yeah, I appreciate the thought that went into it and the craftsmanship. Appreciate that, boys.
That's pretty cool. You're bringing it back here on our second trip here on
Well, yeah,
It
Left Hand
is.
Right Brain.
Yeah, it's really good to be back here, man. You got some upgrades to the studio since we've been here last.
Yeah, I heard you guys
Good.
talking about my upgrades on the Happy Friday pod, which I do
Oh, yeah.
listen to every
Thank you.
week.
We appreciate
Oh
that.
man,
And I was like, upgrades. I got a couple cameras on some tripods. But I appreciate the shout out. I was
it's
like,
it's work though. Like
Yeah,
it's an
for
investment
sure.
in yourself. It's an
Mhm, mhm.
investment in creating, and creating is a lot of fun, but it can be strenuous
work.
at times. Yeah,
it's work too. It
like you
can
got to
be.
get stuff done.
Yeah.
Just like anything, though, it's time spent, money spent. Like you invested in yourself with this. I mean, you've been doing this a long time, JD. You're one of
Yeah,
Denver's
yeah.
best.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you've
thank
been in
you.
the game a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I do have kind of a bone to pick. I did ask you guys to refer to me as the Pod King of Denver on the last pods, and you didn't do it.
No, we did the title.
I mean, you
we did the whole.
did.
the episode title
I
was
wanted
Pod
you.
King.
I wanted you. Yeah, but not the Pod King of Denver.
Oh,
I mean, but
that was
my
my
whole-
fault then,
No,
JD.
it's all
I
good.
apologize sincerely.
Thank you for apologizing to the Pod King of Denver.
to the Pod King of Denver. Well, it was great
Everybody
to have you
needs to know.
on the live
Yeah.
event too, JD. That was kind of
Oh yeah, we did a live show
that,
recently.
that was an interesting night to say the
That
least.
was.
Yeah. Too bad Leslie Harrod was there, right? The
Leslie Harrod was there.
mayoral candidate. It was interesting to hear her talk.
Yeah, she was good. I think she ended up fourth in the race, and she ended up endorsing Johnson, which he obviously just took the mayor position for Denver. So I don't live in Denver, so I wasn't
You're
eligible
like, so it
to vote
doesn't
for
matter.
that. Yeah, my opinion doesn't
Your
really
vote
matter.
did not count.
My vote did not count, but
Right.
I keep an eye on what's going on around the city.
Yeah. I did the mayoral interviews for the CityCast. I edited all of those, and it was just interesting to hear how everybody, their different points of view.
Okay.
It was so I was like the most informed I've ever been, but also I couldn't vote either. I'm in Lakewood, so
Yeah. So
so
you and
it's
I are
like,
kind of in that same boat.
yeah. Like how you guys have the Bud Light behind you, still repping it strong.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
Bud Light never.
If you like the way something tastes, all this noise is what I like to call it. There's enough noise on this world. I don't need to be influenced by the noise. Just if you enjoy something,
Enjoy it.
You
yeah,
keep it rolling.
just go ahead and enjoy it.
Yeah,
You
no,
just
I,
got to own it.
I like that that message. That's a good message.
Yeah, just who cares what anybody else thinks? As long as you're not hurting anybody, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You got to be a good person. Try to be your best to be respectful, of course. But who cares what anybody else has to say? It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
No,
yeah. I agree with
we
that.
just
I mean,
gotta enjoy our time.
when this whole thing started, JD, I mean, we were in a contingency deal with Bud Light to sponsor Discussion Combustion, and they were monitoring our social media, and we were having some fun with it. And then
Oh, really?
all hell broke loose.
Yeah, you guys are like very market savvy.
We
You guys are
tried to
constantly
be.
doing stuff like that. I'm very impressed by it.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, man.
So you were in talks. They were like
They were
getting back to you.
Yep, they were. They were like, look, we're going to monitor your content for like 90 days and see if this would be a good partnership. And then all hell broke loose on April 1st, I think it was, with this Dylan Mulvaney deal. And everyone's like, oh, Kev, are you still going to drink Bud Light? You know, are you going to?
We drank it.
And I never stopped drinking it.
I mean, it tastes good.
I drink it for the taste. The politics I could care less about, man.
I mean, I guess I don't hang out with enough drinkers to be like, I drink it for the taste.
Well, no, here's the thing. Okay, so for a while, I tried to, become crafty with my beers. You get it, like craft beers.
Gotcha.
And so I was trying all the IPAs. I was doing all that stuff, and they're just so heavy. And I learned I'm a Pilsner lager type of guy, and I don't like heavy beers. Like I don't need all this hoppy flavor. It's just not my. So actually, just a nice domestic light beer is like really good to me. Like it's like one of the better tasting ones. And like like you got beer snobs out there that are probably rolling their eyes.
Right.
And everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're looking good too, bud. You're looking trim. How do you keep the balance with the drinking and the weight? I mean, is that just like your half of your calories for the day is just booze?
I've been trying to cut down a little bit on drinking. It's been a struggle. We all as individuals need to improve, right?
Y'all.
But I did lose about 50-60 pounds in a matter of about 8 months.
And that's like,
and it was I cut out
respectable time.
It was, I mean, I was diligent. So I cut out late night snacking. I would always go to sleep hungry. I walked at least 1 to 2 miles every single day.
Yeah, get those steps in.
At least. I would do some swimming, and then I also would fast I would do intermittent fasting about 5 days a week.
Whoa.
And it sucked.
Yeah.
And it was I was torturing myself.
Doing like 12 off, 8 on, or like, whatever, 12.
Yeah, so if you could hit
16, 12,
if you
16,
could hit
8.
14 to 16 hours not eating, you could have water or coffee and stuff like that. Then your body really starts to
eat its own fat.
Yeah, and also
starts to eat itself.
There's something that happens at that longer range too, where it detoxes itself in a different way. Like you really start getting the toxins out of your body when you hit that 14 to 16 hour mark. So yeah, thanks, man. You're looking. I mean, come on, man.
Okay, long pause right there.
no, man. You got the chain. I mean, last time we were at the Mile High Life's Christmas event, I was filling up your guns and stuff. Like,
it
was tight.
Arthur likes to touch people, not inappropriately, but just
also
he likes
also spiritually. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you keep the the feel good vibes going on the podcast. I mean, sometimes you're not afraid to just go off on a tangent about how we all need to do better and be kind to ourselves, which I enjoy. But also, it's like on Happy Friday, I could feel the vibe shift sometimes.
Oh,
like John's like, I'm just trying to fucking talk about the frictionas over here, and then you're like, you know what, we got to be kinder to each other and like just be nice. And John's just like, all right.
Yeah, that's a good representation of John for sure. And I'm just sitting over here, trying to MC or whatever the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. It's fun because you guys all rotate, like who's taking the lead in the podcast.
It's a fun project. And
it's
the 3 different personalities. We all got big personalities. And they work well together.
That's what makes it work though. Yeah. And we're getting close, JD, to doing guest hosting on Happy Friday. And so when maybe Art has a week off, maybe John has the week off, maybe I have the week off, and maybe you'll step in and co-host Happy Friday. So that could be some breaking news.
We want the Pod King of Denver there.
We want the Pod King of Denver. Yes,
on Happy Friday.
That's gonna be the clip.
We need the Pod King of Denver. And so how it would work is you're going to put together 3 topics that you would like to talk about on Happy Friday, current topics.
A lot of work for me already.
So you're gonna have to script it out a little bit.
Script it out.
Yeah, and then we'll share the script, and then we're gonna format it together, and then from there we will put it on a mic, put it on wax.
You guys record to vinyl, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Put it on the wax, baby.
You have a vinyl recording of all your pods.
Yeah, you got to.
Which would be, I guess, kind of cool, but also.
I mean, don't you want the best sound quality?
From
doesn't vinyl
I
have
just want
the
an
best?
MP3?
Vinyl have the best sound quality?
Yeah, I mean, people say that. I've heard people say that this is the best sound quality. That's the best sound quality. If it sounds good, it sounds good. I don't care what the file is.
You know what people who say VHS is the best way to watch a movie, I'm like, come on. I mean, I have a bunch of VHS. I have a VHS player here, but
That's cool.
obviously not better than a Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I feel like even Blu-ray is starting to go obsolete. Like it's hard to, not that you can't get a Blu-ray player, but like people aren't buying Blu-ray anymore.
It's just like
think
digital now.
I think well,
Yeah.
this is a very ageist thing. I think there's a separation. You know, like I recently bought the 5th season of Yellowstone for my uncle, my
nice.
great uncle, on Blu-ray because he won't get it any other way. He doesn't
Yeah.
have internet at his house. He refuses. So, but he loves Yellowstone. So whenever I see that or a Cobra Kai, whenever the next season comes out, I got to get it.
Good man.
I get it for him on Blu-ray. And then, I'll just eventually add that to my collection. I have a pretty big Blu-ray DVD collection.
Good man. I know we talked about Yellowstone when you were on DCPC a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and about the hats and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Have you got caught up with the Yellowstone
I
situation?
did. I streamed it, and I have the DVDs waiting for him, all the Blu-rays waiting for my uncle.
Oh, he's going to be pumped, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't like how they split it up into 2 seasons.
Well, and here's the deal, too, is now they got the writer's strike going on.
Yeah.
So they pushed back part 2 to later this year, and then Kevin Costner's done. That's it. That's all we get. So now they're talking about doing a spinoff series with the Sixes Ranch, and Matthew McConaughey's rumored to come in.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kevin Costner is like the backbone of that show, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what it'll be if they can do it without him.
I agree.
mean, that's done right there.
I mean, everyone likes Rip, but Rip can't carry the show.
Rip can't carry the show. He's just a good supporting actor.
Yeah, I mean, Beth is crazy. She
Yeah.
can't carry the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, what do you like, Beth? Are you into Beth like sexually?
I mean, would I do sex with Beth? Yeah, of course I would. Absolutely. Yeah,
And she's British, really.
She is British,
Mhm.
and she's super smoke show. I mean,
Very
not,
attractive.
not typically the type of woman I would normally go after,
Like
but like
personality wise, like in real
she's
life.
a little too rough for me.
Yeah, I mean,
But if,
she's
but,
like,
but if the question isn't like, would I be with her or do sex with her? The answer would be do
That'd be like,
sex.
what was I thinking? Derek's Bentley type of night for you.
but you couldn't like.
That's what
I
it
mean,
would be.
Hey, I was talking about being in a nice Christian relationship, courting till marriage. All right, I'm not. I mean, I just want the listeners to know I'm not trying to be like that.
One
okay,
night of
guys?
fun. One night of fun.
Nah, dude, I think she'd be like, she's too rough, man. I'd come out with like bruises, and she'd be calling me a pussy, and I would just be like not able to get it up.
You'd have like a new,
Like,
you'd
I
have like
couldn't
a
do
new
it.
burn
That's a
mark and
good
stuff.
point.
You like wake up. You're like, I don't know how I got a burn mark that's 3 inches long.
But I feel like a lot of people fetishize the Beth character in the show, and she's just gotten more and more crazy like every season.
Yeah, and guys either love it or hate it, and then of course all the women are into Rip because he's like the man's man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I mean, I'm into
I think
Rip.
Kevin. I mean, Casey's just as much of a man. He went to
Casey is.
the military. He's taking care of his family.
that's a good point.
You know, but like Rip is just murdering people left and right, and people
He's
love it. He's
just a-
throwing snakes in people's faces. You see that episode, Arthur?
The rattlesnake.
What was that?
It was like season maybe 2 or 3.
I'm pretty sure I saw that one then.
He shakes it up in the cooler and throws it at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I grew up a little bit on some land, so I'm a city and a country boy. I'm a hybrid.
Mhm,
So I was
mhm.
born in Denver City, and then I moved out to the country,
Where is where?
and 10 miles east of Parker. So real rural. Okay,
Okay,
5
okay.
acres,
Real
400
rural.
acres across the street. Rural.
Real rural.
Like when
Yeah.
it's nighttime, like you hear coyotes.
Gotcha.
They're like out there yipping. Like you don't even have streetlights. Okay,
Okay.
dirt roads.
Yeah, you know how to ride a horse?
I rode donkeys.
Not a horse though.
I've been on the back of a stallion
Wait,
before.
were you making a joke about the women you've been with? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't do that publicly. I mean, come on. I'm a gentleman. I'm a gentleman now.
Right. Sorry.
No, but it's good to get out there, and there's so much value being on the land. Have you ever lived rural?
I mean, I lived in Greeley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in the, and I spent the night at some of my friends' houses that were more country. You
Mhm.
know,
hmm
that's about
it's a
that's
fun
the.
night.
Have you ever had to mow acres?
No. I think the most I've mowed with a ride mower is an acre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you got an acre in though.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
an acre's all you need.
Yeah.
An acre is all you need. That sounds like a Happy Friday episode title.
Yeah, I'll write that in the script. Yeah, that seems like a lot of work, guys, to have the script, write it out.
I mean,
Well-
when you're recording with one of Denver's finest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Pod King JD Lopez, but John
Yeah.
Ekstrom. We all know his statue around this city, what he's done with John of all trades, and
Yeah.
when we started,
Very
yeah, I mean, he's been on Left and Right Brain, he's been on Discussion Combustion. I mean, if you don't know who John Ekstrom is, you need to get with it, because this guy, I mean, he's done it all really in the pod scene. And so when we started this deal, Happy Friday, Art and I are so used to just winging it, like as always, as you know, JD, we just grab a drink and just send it. And John's like, that's not going to work for me. So John kind of taught us how to condition ourselves to prepare for a show, very scripted. And not that we write the words we're going to say on the program, right? We just have those articles, like Art was saying, we write 3 segments per show. And we sit down on Wednesday and go, okay, guys, how do we want this to look? What do we want to,
Here's what we got.
Yeah.
What's the best flow?
What's the best flow? And then we show up on Thursdays and we have our scripts with the articles in there that we've read, and we go, we jump into it. And that's kind of how Happy Friday took shape. And that's how we've built on what we're doing every week. And I love fucking with John because he's just so professional.
Yeah.
Which is great. And
I think he likes to be referred to as Jonathan, actually.
Don't do that. Don't call him Jonathan.
Yeah, these are some deep cut Happy Friday things, guys. You got to listen to the pod, I guess. But I mean, I do
that's
enjoy
fucking
what you're doing
hilarious.
for the scene. You're providing some just good information for people. You're picking new stories, things to do in the city, things like that. I think it's fun. You guys recently talked about donuts and ice cream, which are like 2 of my biggest things.
Oh, we got to talk food, man.
I mean, the ice cream thing, I just recently called CityCast because they're like, hey, call in with like your favorite thing. And I literally just screamed Little Man into the voice recording.
That is good ice cream.
Yeah, it's the best. When you said Sweet Cooey's,
Mhm.
you said that on the podcast. That's Little Man Ice Cream. It's just a different name of the. They
Is
have
it?
different shops all around town.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I haven't had
Little
it.
Man Ice Cream. So,
Mm.
well,
I guess I got to get it together.
yeah, put the beer down and pick up a cone, bro. Come on,
I mean,
a different kind of pint.
coming
all
from
right?
the man who brought ice cream cake to
Oh, yeah.
come
So
celebrate
good.
with us, man. That was awesome.
That was cool.
That was a fun episode.
I
The 4-year.
haven't been happier, I think, on a podcast. I was just going after that thing
like eating ice
like
cream
crazy.
cake.
Yeah, that was so good.
It's
Yeah,
good times.
My mom really enjoyed that episode because Mom watches all my shows,
Oh,
which is
okay.
great. She's a big supporter, and she'll probably listen to this too. But she's like, I
Oh.
really like that gentleman with the hat.
Oh, that's nice.
So Mom approves of the Pod King of Denver.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Mrs. Batstone.
Oh yeah.
So ice cream, you guys were talking about it. You're saying you like cookies and cream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you say your favorite, Kevin?
Yeah, I like I'm a classic New England ice cream guy. So up there, like what's real big is like a chocolate vanilla soft serve twist in a wafer
soft
cone.
serve. Yeah, my wife and I recently went to Dang, which is Little Man's soft serve shop. And soft serve is just a whole different game with ice cream.
It's good though, but
It's
you
good.
have to eat it kind of quick.
Sure, but I think the soft serve isn't about the ice cream itself. It's about the toppings. It's about the mix-ins.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, because they do a whole blizzard type. They don't call it a blizzard there, but trademarked by Dairy Queen. But
Oh, yeah, that is a
you got to get it. You got to know what you're getting in there.
You got to
'Cause I
turn
felt
it to
like,
mix a lot.
Yeah, I felt like I was like 16 the first time I went to Who Hot's Mongolian
Hot's.
Grill. I had no idea what the fuck to put in any of my shit. Have you ever been there? It's like
It's so good though. Like you end up like making
not when
this
you don't know what the
concoction.
fuck you're doing and you put
Even the first time-
pineapple and fucking dumbass shit in there and you're just like you got this steaming hot mess at the end
When
and
the
you got to
chef
eat it in
gives you
front
a
of your
look,
boss.
Yeah, when he gives you a look, you're like, maybe I fucked up.
Yeah, it's like I shouldn't have gone rogue. I should have just sticked with one of the pre-made ones up there. But I was like, I'm thinking of a time I was like 16. Went to like a company like Christmas dinner
Mhm.
with my first boss and like coworkers, and I didn't know what the fuck to do. It was not good. Let's just say I didn't take anything home. I didn't take the leftovers home.
It's
But
always
anyway,
yeah, that's a rough.
I had that
predicament.
I had a flashback when I went to Dang because I didn't know what to get in my.
In the
Should have
ice
just gone
cream.
the classic cookies and cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was like, no. I fucking went rogue and I got a pistachio ice cream with,
That could
it
be
was
good.
I mean, it was good, but again, the soft serve is about the mix-ins.
Yeah, the
you
soft
know?
serve is. It is.
What kind of mixins are you doing?
It can get too fancy though. That's the thing. Like you're saying, when you don't
The
know what
gummy
to do.
bear.
Yeah, the gummy bear. It can get too fancy. Like I'm simple. Like
What's too fancy of a topping for you?
I mean, so I'll ask you
Fucking
guys this.
Eggs?
I mean, eggs,
Quail eggs?
quail eggs on my soft serve. No go.
All right.
No go. I might do that in an orange juice or like an orange Julius, I guess it is.
Okay.
Is that that's still a thing?
Yeah. I think that's what makes it
That's good.
frothy is a egg yolk.
They put it in
egg
there.
yolk.
Do they still do that though?
Yeah, I think so.
You could get.
I mean, that's the recipe.
the recipe.
Is that what makes it good?
People put raw egg in there, man. That's a thing at
I
Orange
didn't
Julius.
know they did that at Julius.
They do that at Julius.
Oh my
but
Julius!
My question to you is, and I don't even know if I've asked you this, Art, but I'm going to ask you guys both this. Do
Okay.
you guys know what Jimmy's are for a topping on your soft serve?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
You
Let's see
know.
if you
Okay.
know.
Let me take a guess what a Jimmy is.
Although I don't think you can call
He's
him out.
he's going to fail.
It's gonna a gummy worm.
It's not a gummy worm.
What is it?
JD knows what it is. I'll let him take it.
Yeah. What is it,
It's
JD?
the sprinkles.
Mhm.
Oh, is that what it,
Sprinkles.
the
Yeah,
Jimmy's is? Oh,
Yeah, they
I
call 'em
swear I
sprinkles.
heard that before.
It's
Pretty
an
sure-
East Coast term. Back where in my native part. So I grew up in Wolfboro, New Hampshire, which is kind of centrally located in the ice cream capital of the world. And we did a lot of ice cream eating. Dad would take me down for a soft serve after a barbecue, and we'd go enjoy ice cream at the docks and look at the boats.
A soft serve.
Yep.
All right. So the origin of the name of the Jimmy's is uncertain, but it was first documented in 1930 as a topping for cake. Just Born Candy Company, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Yeah, you got it. Named them after an employee.
Oh, way to go, Jimmy.
Wow. Actually, that's some deep history there, JD.
Well, you get the facts on here, and I didn't have to script it out. So yeah.
These are the things you learn on Left Hand, Right
Yeah,
Brain.
I
Just
mean,
joking.
I'm just joking. I'm
even
against
the
having to do
things I
homework for a
script-
podcast. I guess is all I'm saying.
Even the things I script, I don't know if that's even facts. Like,
Sure.
is
I mean,
is
I
anything
gave it a
real?
goog.
Like I believe you're real because I've
Thank
touched,
you.
I've
Thank you.
seen you,
Yep,
I've touched you.
You touched the guns.
Yes, the Pod King of Denver exists.
Yeah.
It was a myth.
Thank you.
until I saw it in person.
Mhm.
Well-
But that's just kind of like with deep faking and all this AI stuff. Like, I almost think everything online is satire at this point. Like
Wow.
how much
What
can
a
you
skeptic.
how much can you actually believe?
You know what? I am curious to believe. I heard you have a girlfriend now.
Oh yes,
She real? She's in Canada?
she's in Colombia.
Okay. Yeah, I heard she was
She's
leaving.
in
So.
Canada.
She's from Canada. You don't know her. She has a podcast in Canada.
She's gone for 2 weeks in Colombia, and then she's gonna go to Florida for another 4. It's so fun. It's so fun
It's
to miss her a little
have
bit.
have a partner, right?
I'm not gonna go too deep in this right now.
That's not what I heard.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Whoa. Easy.
Sorry. I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm really happy and fortunate. I'll make this brief. I was really enjoying being single. I was loving my single life. I was being successful, doing my own shit. It's like the cliches. When you're not looking is when it finds you.
Sure.
And I was just out celebrating my good friend Jamie Rourke's 50th birthday because I love him. And we were at Emerald Isle, and I was handing out some stickers like I always do. And I handed them out to her table. And then, one of her friends approached me being like, hey, come talk. Like,
The friend approached you.
yes.
Huh? Okay.
And so that's how it happened. Wasn't looking, and then all of a sudden,
You skipped a lot of steps there, but okay.
yeah.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. And well, because we started talking and we got along well. And there was fire, passion, heat.
Yeah. Did you throw some rhymes down? Were you freestyling a little bit at the
I
table? or-
gave that to her on like the
You
third
gave
date.
that to her.
Yeah,
I gave her that
Yeah,
gift.
I allowed her to witness a freestyle from Article on like the third date. And then occasionally I'll bust one in the car.
What was the date? What were the first dates? Coffee, going out to get some food right
so-
away.
So how you do it is I'm a masculine man, okay?
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm in that energy.
So you took her to the gym.
And so I just decided where we're gonna go, decided what time, told her, and she showed up.
Okay.
And
No collaboration.
and we
like,
ha-
would you like to go
no,
here?
No questions like that.
Okay.
I'm letting her know how the night's gonna go,
Okay.
and she loves that. And
Okay.
so, yeah, you gotta and look, even a couple months and you still gotta court your girls. Like even if you've been with your girl for a year, you still gotta court and dote this woman
Mhm,
because
mhm.
that's important. You still have to make decisions.
Did you order for her?
Yes.
You did? You ordered her
Yes.
when you
I know what
she
she likes.
said she'll have
yeah.
the
Yeah, I know what she likes to eat at this point, and so I'm like I confirm with her before. I'm like, this is what
At
you
least
want,
there's some
right?
conversation.
I'm like,
there.
this is what you want, right? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, all right, I got you. And if you're gonna order for your lady, there's a certain way to do it because I fucked up a couple times, so I like learned.
Okay.
So you never order for yourself first because then they like look at them like, and then you're like, no, back at me because I'm gonna order for them. So you always order theirs first.
How did that precedent get set? Did you just like order for her first, or was she like, "Hey, I like it when a man orders for me"? Or
I was just really I was centered in my masculine energy at that point, so
Okay,
I was just calling all the shots.
okay, gotcha.
You know, I was bringing it back to like being a gentleman.
Okay,
You know,
so that's how
chivalry.
you're framing it as being a gentleman.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I'm
No, I mean I think it's true. I mean I was just like
because
that's
I could see how it could come off like, yeah, I'm calling the shots, I'm doing this,
yeah.
but like honestly, she is in her feminine energy. I'm in my masculine energy. You have to have that
She's receptive to it. She
polarity.
likes it.
Like there's going to be a feminine or masculine person in every relationship.
Well, let's
If
bring
it's
her
gonna
in.
work.
All right, let's see how she likes. I'm just joking.
Yeah. And
No,
he's
she
right
can't.
here.
Does he order for you, Kevin?
No, absolutely not. He tries to do, he tries to be all masculine and, call the shots and all that. But we both know when it's Art and I call the shots.
He likes to think, even though I was the big spoon in the bed this morning.
Okay. Oh yeah, you guys said that
so
the lady's gone, so you're sleeping back at the old your old fling's house, huh?
I couldn't help myself.
JD gets it.
Couldn't help myself. I do pursue Kevin a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I
there
do
you have it.
pursue Kevin.
There you have it, folks. It's on the wax.
Yeah, it's sometimes, but you pass the ball back really well to me, Kev.
I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys have a special relationship. I think it's nice. You
Thank
know,
you.
you guys have a fun, playful thing that I just think John doesn't understand from on the podcast. You know, I
John
think,
gets a little uncomfortable at times.
yeah, I think maybe he's too much in his masculine energy.
He could be. I mean,
No, I'm
if
just
John
fucking-
were here, he would tell you eye rolls for gender roles.
Yeah, I thought. Wow. Okay.
He would.
Interesting.
He bought a
Interesting.
patch in Florida.
He talked about it on a couple shows.
Was that in Florida?
No, it was in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Because I know John's listening to this, and John, I pay attention to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just yeah, I thought about should I have invited John as well, but
I mean,
Next time.
we could
Next
three of
time,
us could get
maybe.
in here. We could share a mic.
yeah.
John would get
Well,
really
I can
comfortable
I
being
have
this
an extra
close.
mic, okay?
I mean, I
have more
don't-
than
I don't
3
mind.
microphones.
I don't mind.
I was curious actually, what kind of mics do you guys use?
We use the Zing U's, which are, I mean, they're not super fancy. We've had those since the basement days, going back to, you shouted out Jamie Rorick, and shout out to him again, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be
Big
here.
shout out, Jamie.
So when we, got into the podcast scene, we started researching, hey, what's, a good startup kind of beginner mic, if you will. And they ended up sounding really good. Like the quality was good.
Yeah.
I didn't need to do the Shure SM57s and all those fancy brand names. So 60,
I was
70
thinking
bucks.
of investing into the 57s actually.
They're good, man. I mean, they're good
great.
mics.
Yeah, I figured once I do it, I won't have to invest again.
I mean,
you
these
know.
sound good. What are these?
Those are the Shure 48s.
48,
I mean, you
okay.
got to get up on them,
Yeah.
I do like the handheld feel because the 58s, the Shure 58s, or I mean the Shure SM7s.
Yep.
You can't really go handheld. I mean, it's not like a handheld mic.
Yeah,
You gotta
it's
have
got
a
to be
boom.
stationary.
Well,
yeah, boom.
it's a little more guest friendly this
You think?
round through. Yeah, because before you had the booms kind of coming in,
Oh yeah,
and then you kind of felt like you were
hemmed in
position
a little bit. Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I feel very free this week.
Yeah, people don't
coming
like the
in
boom
here.
arms. Most people who haven't done pods, they don't feel comfortable around them. So I just started going handheld, even though sometimes you can hear people fucking with it too much, things
yeah.
like that. But I figured I'd rather them be comfortable and have a good conversation versus them not being comfortable with the boom arms.
That's a
Well,
good call.
and you do a great job hosting though too, man. I swear. Like you got like the screen up and stuff. I remember the first time we came in here, I was like, dude, this guy really has a cool setup.
Thank you.
It is a
Thank
good
You were
setup.
all pulling up Kevin's music videos from back in the day and stuff. Like,
yeah.
it's a great show.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
We really love what you do, and it's cool that
Oh,
we're,
yeah, I
we're
was
all
gonna-
part of the Mile High Life network too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's-
That's something
it's
that's
so
happened since
fun.
the last time
It's
we
so
were on.
fun.
Yeah.
Both joined the network. Yeah, thanks. Shout out Jeff Nelson. No, not
Jeff
Morton.
Morton. Yeah, sorry.
Jeff Morton.
I just had a guy named Jeff Nelson on, so I had
That's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, shout
different
out Jeff
Jeffs.
Morton,
Jeff Morton. Sorry,
Nate
bud.
Lundy.
Yeah, Nate Lundy. He's
Um,
the
Mile High
My
Life
High
crew.
Life CEO.
Yep.
Jeff is the podcast pod daddy is what they christened him on Drunk Wedding Pod.
Oh, Pod Daddy.
Oh, was he
Yeah.
on there?
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
he brought some high end wine. All right,
Really?
he
could see him
he
doing
really
that.
showed up, showed out,
Oh,
drank
that's
up.
how you do it.
Yeah, for real.
I feel
Gotta
like
show up, show
I
out.
feel like
appreciate
Jeff
that.
Morton's probably like a Camus Cabernet drinker. If I had to guess,
It was red. I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but
I bet that's what it was, Jeff.
yeah, high taste. He's got a high bar. Yeah,
Well, and big shout out to John Ekstrom again here, Jonathan Ekstrom.
there
Don't
you go.
don't call him Jonathan.
I love you, man.
The
because-
Jonathan of All Trades podcast.
Because he introduced Us to You.
Yes.
And then also, if it wasn't for John, um, we wouldn't have known about the Mile High Life opportunity.
Yeah, honestly, John
he's
is like
he's a solid lad.
Yeah, John is like the guy in the behind the curtain dude. I mean, a lot of people I've met in the scene or any things I've gotten with the podcast or just guests or just things like that, connections I've made with the Mile High Life Network and stuff like that, or through John. So thank you so much, Jonathan. Actually, I do appreciate that. Got to give it up to him. He's the man behind the curtain kind of a thing, the Wizard of Oz, if you will.
Yeah, and what's great about working with John is like he's so good at what he does. He's been doing it for so long. He's so prepared. He's so professional. Like it makes you step your game up if you're working with him. Like you can't half-ass it around John or you're going to get left behind.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? And so I thank John for pushing me as a podcaster. He's taught me so much, man. And I love the guy. I really do.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's an honor, and the people that we surround ourselves with is important. And so I'm going to go on one of these little rants that you talk about here.
We call these the raw rants.
Gotta,
here's the thing though, is like
we gotta keep pushing.
People,
we gotta wake up every morning.
Yeah, and are you gonna do anything with your fucking day? Or are you just gonna what are you doing with your time?
But also, I want to say it's okay to just watch some TV with your boo.
Oh, and look,
I agree with JD.
I love taking a day. It's important to have that rest day where you do nothing, right? So that is being productive. So I do believe in being productive every day, but that's sidetracked. What I wanted to talk about was friendships and a little bit about that, because in my life, and in all of our lives, I'm sure we've all had people come and go. And sometimes we have to choose who we want to keep, right?
Yeah.
Because who we surround ourselves with, are they pushing us? Are they holding us accountable? Like, be careful about who you're actually spending your time with out there, and like who you're actually willing to let into your life, because these people are going to make a big impact.
Yeah. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
So I'm really happy that I have the friends I do, and I'm fortunate to have my friend circle. And it's a big group of people, like 7. Is that a big group?
Yes.
Close friends?
Yeah, I just went out to a party last night for a close friend. There's too many people.
Yeah.
I like one-on-one, this kind of interaction. If you start adding more than 3, I think it's a good big group.
Okay, yeah, it does.
It can be, because then you have opportunities for things to go off the rails. And great song choice there, JD. I just want to say that's my parents' wedding song.
Oh, wow, okay.
Mom will enjoy that.
The Beatles.
The Beatles in my life.
You had this coming through the headphones, man. You got quite the setup in here.
It's pretty dialed in here, brother.
I mean, yeah, I got a thing, I'm always adding new shit. The cameras now are just a new thing, I like how you guys had the wall mounts. I was really blown away by the wall mounts
the wall mounts were friends that we chose that really helped us in the right way.
Yeah, I got these. I want to get some more
wall
clamps
friends.
I like a good clamp mount.
Yeah,
because then I can move it.
I like the setup there, man. No, that makes sense. I dig it.
When you get it dialed in, why do you need to keep moving it?
Well, I don't know if it's ever dialed in that much, for me, because again, we rent here. I don't want to put too many holes in the wall. You know? I mean, there's already some pretty big ones behind all these pictures, actually. So
yeah, I do like what you got going on here.
Anyway,
we're
getting
collage?
deep.
Is this collage? All the guests that you've had, you like made
not all of them, but
we were talking about this before we went on the air, and he wasn't paying attention as usual because he was distracted by the shiny object, your typewriter.
And that thing was very fun.
You spent a lot of time with the typewriter. More than I expected.
I did a lot of positive affirmations on there.
Okay, nice. Yeah,
I was saying, we rock, let's go, winning, it's time. I was typing all that in there until it went ding, and that was so satisfying.
Yeah.
To hear that ding.
But yeah, my buddy Patrick made this for me as a Christmas gift. It's got a bunch of pictures of me and with different guests.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I dig it, man.
So, do you ever go back and listen to your old episodes?
Yes, constantly.
And you're like, let me go check this out.
Yeah, if I had another like I was listening to our last podcast,
Mhm.
When I have a reoccurring guest on,
Mhm.
I don't know, I just reconnected with somebody I hadn't seen in a while or something, and I knew we did an episode together. Things like that. A year ago today, kind of stuff. Sometimes I'll check out and see where I was 3 years ago, in the end of June. To see, just to see where I was then and where I am now.
Mhm. Mhm.
I enjoy that. I'm
It,
very vain.
I mean, like John says, you have to have a certain level of like narcissism to
Sure,
even
sure.
podcast or do any like
Yeah, I do think
like
that's true.
my voice and thoughts are worth being heard, and I'm gonna go ahead and record them so
Sure.
everyone can hear it. Like you have to have a little bit of that, but then you also do a really great job at stand-up comedy,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's no honestly like when you did the live event with us for Loco Plus, it was so fun, and you had really great material. It was fun.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we hadn't really finished that loop. Yeah, you guys had me do some stand up at this event, and you guys had never seen me do stand up before, so I felt like you guys are really taking a leap of faith. Because I was like thinking about it. I got there hella early, not knowing that I wasn't going up till 7 or something. I got there at 3:30.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking a lot about it, and I was like, these guys don't know what they're getting into right now. If I
No,
was a lesser comic, I wouldn't have been able to handle that room,
that's true.
because it was spread out. People are at the bar. It's not like a comedy venue.
No.
Yeah.
So it was but ultimately it was a good thing I was there, because I could read the room a little bit, see how what these people were into, what these people weren't, what they were talking about. I mean, you guys did a great job hosting the event, so you guys were wrangling the cats in a way. So but I'm glad it went well, because I do want to do well.
I thought it went great, man. It was super fun too. Just a unique experience. I mean, you don't see a lot of live audience podcasts here in Denver, and we're trying to cultivate that a little bit and bringing in people. It was like, of course, we got to have JD involved, right?
Appreciate that.
And it went well. And yeah, you did. You showed up early because
The
you're
Pod King of
professional,
Denver.
the Pod King of Denver, and soon to be the Comedy King of Denver.
Oh man, that would be what a
I mean,
title. What a title.
Hey, if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be you,
Hey,
brother.
Yeah,
So
if you could just type that in there for an affirmation for me before you
I
leave.
can do that. I can do that. I can do that.
type it into the typewriter.
Yeah, I would
but
like
no,
to.
that day went well, I thought. I mean, there was definitely some obstacles that we had to overcome. I think you saw some of it behind the scenes a little bit, what we had to deal with. But
Oh yeah.
the-
Do you want to talk about that or not?
yeah, I think we
There were
could,
some personal issues that some artists were going through.
yeah, I think we
seem
can
like.
talk about it at this point now. I mean, the event went well. Episode 200 discussion combustion's out there. You can we didn't really air what happened, but
Yeah.
our good friend Sarah Christine is just fantastic. I mean,
If you don't want the name, I could do it, but there was a
No.
artist there. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
Sarah-
no, whatever.
and she's already said she's okay with everything that's happened. to her.
And
Oh, okay, you guys have spoken to her.
We have.
She made a major bounce back. And look, life is always going to present challenges to every individual that exists, and so all we can do is stay proactive. Like I'm not a reactive person, and so we even through problems. Sure, there's a problem happening, and I have to be proactive about it. Because like, here's the thing: is
Yeah, should we just say what what happened, just so the audience knows, and then we can get into that?
Yeah,
or-
that's a good call, JD, because I was just thinking that from a listener's perspective. I mean, basically, we had an artist who's fantastic, and her performance was compromised based on maybe a bit of alcohol or drug intake.
Uh-huh.
Some of it accidental, some of it unintentional, so to
Mhm.
speak. But that's basically what happened in that situation. She wasn't able to perform, and it's been a tremendous eye-opening experience for her in her musical
Okay.
career. So that's basically what happened. She's a great friend of ours, and she always
Mhm.
will be.
Yeah, we still support her. Still like all of her stuff, and Sarah Christine has done so many amazing things, and honestly is an amazing person. Like she has such a big heart, and really puts it on the she puts it on the line for everybody to see, and she's awesome.
Yeah. Because you guys had musical acts come on in between interviews that you were doing, and you guys were interviewing a lot of different people that you've had on the podcast. Interesting people doing cool and interesting things here in Denver. So then you had a couple musical acts come up, and she had been partaking in the the beverage,
Mhm.
the things that this venue had to offer. And by the time it was her time to get up, she only did one song. Let's
What-
say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I gotta say,
true.
when we were doing mic checks, she killed it.
Yeah.
She absolutely sounded so good. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
During the mic check, and unfortunately, we probably should have had her on a little bit earlier, but that's just the way the
who
cookie
knew?
crumbled
Yeah,
that
who
night.
knew? Yeah.
And we grew from it. So that's just how it goes.
And those venues, those kind of events are hard, because I have done plenty of live shows. I used to do one once a month for
Mhm.
like a little over a year, and it's just like people are coming to the thing mostly to just hang out at this venue. It was like a bar, restaurant kind of thing
Mhm.
that It was like X Bar, or what was the
Ex Denver, yeah.
X Denver. Yeah, so it's like a lounge in like an apartment complex thing that they want to get events going on there. And the people that were there were there to mingle and like what's the word when network. Yes, they were there to network. So they were talking, they were mingling. And that's something I had to deal with. I mean, that her performance showed me, is like, okay, I really got to wrangle these cats in if they're gonna like, if I have any chance of doing well, So I was like, hey, be quiet, right now. Let's not talk about politics. I mean, it maybe wasn't that aggressive, but part of me was like, I might have to get up in some people's faces. Like I didn't even get on the stage. I stayed off the stage.
No, I was gonna say that. Yeah, you they didn't have a choice.
Kind of, yeah.
JD was there, and he was about to talk some sexual jokes, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and it was fun. I got to play around with the camera guy a little bit, so. Got some chants going. We did talk. I mentioned Yellowstone.
Yep.
And Leslie Hare was like, should have been filmed in Colorado. And so I started going, yeah, fuck Montana, and then everybody joined in saying fuck Montana. So
it was a good crowd read.
Yeah, so that was just like, I just pulled out some tricks that I've seen work with other people. Like just crowd work in general, the art of crowd work, just try and get people together, clap 3 times, things like that. Things I've learned from like Deacon Gray. He used to do the New Talent Night stuff at Comedy Works. He did a hosting class a long time ago. And it was just things like that to try and bring all these individuals in the crowd together as a group, as an audience. So I was just trying to do that a little bit. And, unfortunately, this person before just wasn't there cognitively, I think, to bring everybody together. And then, I mean, we can cut this out, I guess, if you don't feel it. But I heard her saying like she thought she got roofied or something. So I didn't know. Yes. I mean, that might not be. I can cut this part out if you guys don't want to talk about it.
No, we don't have to cut anything.
But I was like, oh my God, like, is this?
Yeah.
That's that's not a good time.
No, and that's we all thought that's what happened at first, because she did go for a medical evaluation that night.
Okay.
And she said confirmed drugged, right?
Wow.
So drugs were involved, but we ended up finding out that there was just kind of a mishap that took place. She kind of mixed.
She learned her limits that night.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's changed her for it literally to this day. I mean, that night was
she's grown from the experience.
Yes,
great,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Sarah, if you're listening to this one, thank you for that meaningful text that you sent, and we always got your back, girl. Always.
Yeah.
You know this.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So she's okay now. She's doing all right.
Yeah,
she's great, man.
It wasn't like an active like. There wasn't like some guy trying to be.
It was on her.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
She learned some limits.
Sure.
And she owned it, and I have my
She did own it.
full respect. I've always loved Sarah Christine, but I respect her so much for stepping up to it, owning it, learning from it, moving forward, and
respect.
Yeah, no, for sure. But going back to that night, it was
a great night overall. Just want to throw it out there. It was a great event.
It was
Thanks
fun.
for having me, guys.
I mean, what a experience for our first live podcast. It wasn't just a first live podcast. It was a show creator showcase.
Yeah, there you go.
It
Loco
was.
X.
Yes.
Loco Plus.
Loco
Plus at the X. It was cool.
They trusted us to host this event, and we've never really done something like that. Like, sure, we host a podcast, right?
Yeah,
That's a little different. We're sitting around drinking beers, goofing
Different
off.
beast.
And so there was so many like split-second decisions that had to be made. Like as a creative director, I guess you would call it. Like we were making shots, calling shots so quickly that night because so many things were happening. Like we just talked about. It's like, okay, we got to move JD up. We got to change the energy of the room. Like making those calls. It was. I guess you could say it was stressful, but it wasn't, because it was like there wasn't any other option. Like failure wasn't an option. We had to make that show.
I mean, it was happening.
Right.
It's live. It's going now, kind of a thing.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can relate to that in
energy.
comedy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Situations happen. I mean, you're used to performing.
There's no getting out of this.
Yeah.
We're in too deep.
Full send commit.
Yeah.
Too deep.
Yeah. And then I'm always like, how much do I acknowledge what's going on in the room? How much do I just kind of ignore certain things and push through? I guess that's just stuff you learn from just doing it, but now you guys have that under your belt and, that experience. And are you guys looking to do anything else like that again? Is there something in the works, or?
Yeah, there's some
tease
things in the works.
Audience a little bit.
There's some things in the works. I would probably advise folks to tune in maybe to the fall. I think we're eyeballing something for the fall. Any
live Happy Fridays at all? Anything like that? I know you guys constantly talking about the fricashinas.
We love the fricashinas.
I mean, it's only right, man. We give, got to show love. And
is that on YouTube? You think I could find that song?
Yeah, just type in the fricashinas. You know how to spell it, JD? Because it's like the fricashinas, the fricashanas. Happy Friday. It's going to be on there.
I mean, it's
don't
definitely
know
at
how to
the
spell it.
it's
I
at the
thought you were
end of
gonna-
every single episode. The full song is.
No, but they have their song
it up
on
there?
YouTube. No, he's going to be able to pull it up.
Freaking
I've literally played it at the house when I get excited. There it is.
Oh, there we go, baby.
Let's take a listen.
You know what? I listen to everything on 2 times the speed, so this is more like it sounds different to
Is
me.
this how you do it?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck
This is
up.
how I'm used to hearing it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
This is hyper thrash punk right here.
Whoa.
All right. Welcome to Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Denver.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
typically
yeah,
how
yeah.
it comes in.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
So whenever I'm trying to rewatch training videos, I do it on 2 times speed because I don't
Yeah,
got
yeah.
time for all that.
Training, huh? You're training for
Oh,
like a day job shit?
I'm an ambassador for my day
Okay,
job.
okay.
Mhm.
All right,
So
we don't have to get. I would just.
I mean, it's fun, you know. But the 2 times speed, like you can really digest a lot of information. Maybe you're listening to us on audio right now, and you just want to.
I would recommend listening to my podcast on 2 times the speed.
Yeah, put it up.
I've
Speed
said
it up.
that since the beginning.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's how I listen to things. So that's how I that's.
Cuts it in half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm listening to so many things, you know. So it's like I got.
So you listen to us on 2X?
Yeah, I
So you
listen to you guys
used to
on
hear me
2X
say
all the
like
time.
Happy Friday, Denver. Welcome to the show. There's a mile high and a half audio. There's a little tune in.
It's a little faster than it usually is. But, yeah, man, I'm
Oh,
listening.
man.
I'm listening. Tuesdays of Stories, 2 Bears, 1 Cave. I've been recently getting back into the Adam Carolla show. I've been listening to
Okay.
Breaking Bread with Tom Papa, Broadcast Geeks, Dudesy.
So like you're
Necessary
just
conversation.
totally into podcasting.
Oh yeah, I'm
Like you love listening, you love recording them.
yeah. I mean, I'm all in.
He's the pod king at Denver.
Yeah, yeah. I listen to a lot of locals. You know, hippie not hippie, Jonathan of all trades.
You keep calling John. We love you, John.
He's gonna fucking hate us.
Man
after this
about
episode.
Man About Town. Have you guys listened to the Man About Town one?
I have heard it.
Yeah, it's also
Not
on
in
the,
great detail.
Mile High Life Network one.
Okay.
I mean, the Mile
Let's
High
go Mile
Life
High Life.
network is robust.
Yeah, I
Y'all
like
gotta
how you
keep
guys
checking it
said
out.
it's the dopest podcast. I've been saying that since I heard you guys say it. That it's your source for the dopest podcasts is what I've been
Who
saying.
said that? Did John
You,
say
I
that?
think you said that.
Did I say that?
I think you said it.
I don't know what I say.
I
It
don't
is, though.
think Kevin says dope a lot.
I say other weird shit like bicycle.
Which one would you say is your favorite show on the network? Just go ahead and name a name.
Favorite
Besides
sh-
your podcast.
My favorite show on my Life Network?
Mhm.
Left Hand, Right Brain.
Oh, well. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding.
Thank you. Yes.
And the
also a
Gen
great
X
one.
show.
Gen X is great.
DeHuff Uncensored is great.
I haven't listened to any of those.
Yep.
Have you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, he does the Stone to Petite. Well, the other guy.
Yeah, Kip Wilson.
Yeah, he does a Stone to Petite. And it's like, I'm not.
You got to get Kip on the show.
You think we'd click?
Yeah, I
you
mean,
think
I think
we
you
get
would.
along?
We're all part of
'Cause-
the same network. We're
Sure, but
we're
also,
a family.
I don't get
JD.
along with a lot of stoners.
But you and I.
Arts is
I
You're
was,
a
just
I, was,
stoner?
I was just huffing a J before we came in.
I had
here.
to smell that shit in
Wow.
the car on the way here.
I was
It's-
I was huffing a J outside.
All right, well,
But I'm like I'm a modern day hippie. All right, you know I handle
not
the
a
business.
modern day cowboy.
No, but I can kick dust like a motherfucker.
Okay.
So don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying?
You
but-
can ride a horse, is what you're saying.
I would definitely
donkeys. You said
I would
donkeys.
hurt my pelvic.
Have you ridden a horse, Kevin?
I have ridden a horse and it didn't go well.
Okay, you got bucked off.
Yeah, I just, I'm not a cowboy. I'm more of
Just
like a
got-
country boy.
Buckarooed onto your peanut. huh?
I have
Yeah,
never
it-
barebacked. Have you barebacked a stallion?
No, I haven't.
That sounds sexual.
Well, it depends on.
I mean, we could bring it there.
I mean, it is.
So
It is
can
Pride
we
Month.
tease something on here?
Yeah.
Are we going to do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna tease it.
We haven't talked about this on any podcast.
No,
yet.
so I'm just gonna tease it a little bit. It's in the works. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but
You're buying a horse.
We will be dropping another podcast, and we might talk
Oh
about
shit!
horses. And
Another podcast.
and it's an OnlyFans only podcast.
Okay.
So it's only on OnlyFans. Seduction discussion.
Seduction, combustion.
Seduction discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Discussion,
And-
seduction.
Seduction discussion.
And so what it is about is we just have adult conversations with
We've been having that
people
right now.
people that are dealing with that industry.
Okay.
Whether you're, a stripper, a call girl,
Whatever.
Men too.
In the
Whatever.
industry.
Not just women.
men and
Men in
women.
the industry.
Yeah.
Do you think
and-
you could handle that, Kevin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, talking about gentleman dealings.
Yeah, I think so. In
Okay.
trans and all that stuff, man.
Okay. you're welcome to. You're open to everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're open
I
to
think it's
everything.
very interesting.
And I think it's a
Yeah.
good opportunity to
No
tap
kink shaming
in.
on seduction discussion.
Yeah, no, it's not. And like Art said, it's still in early stages of development. We got the logo. We kind of have some ideas of what it's going to look like. We have some voiceovers coming into town to help us out. As far as the intro is going to go. But the idea is not to make it like pornographic or overly
Yeah,
sexual.
and we're not being creepy. We're just
No.
having these conversations. We're just talking sex.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
other things. It's going to be like diving into what that industry looks like as a sex worker, as an
Mhm.
OnlyFans contributor, as a stripper, whatever, and having conversations about it. Sure, we could do that on Discussion Combustion, but the OnlyFans market is something that could be tapped into for the podcast
Interesting,
world.
yeah,
So there it is.
Yeah,
It's
because
out
you
there.
guys are businessmen too. I mean, you guys have your Discussion Combustion Studios. I mean, that's where you guys got your studio in the
Discussion Combustion
DTC
production.
there. Sorry,
Mhm,
thank you.
mhm.
Yes.
DCP.
DCPP.
The PP. DCPP.
That's what Schween calls it.
One of our friends actually, he's like, "What, you guys gonna go do DCPP tonight?" We're like, "Yeah, we're doing the PP."
Yeah. So I mean, these are like business moves you're making because you also produce like podcast things. It's like you do the editing and stuff. That's like a service you guys offer through
Correct.
your guys' production thing
Yep.
It's
network
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
business.
we both have our day jobs, and every single week that we show up, every single year that we continue and stay consistent, we're getting closer to, paying our bills by doing what we love, which is creating, helping people create.
Well, yeah, we didn't even talk about the
podcasting.
billboards. You guys are investing in
Yes.
yourselves for real. You guys got a billboard out on Broadway
Mhm.
for Happy Friday.
It's so fun.
It was a little surreal when we did that. Once again, working with John X.
What numbers here? Can we talk numbers? How much does that cost? I
It's
mean, you guys are investing in
A
yourselves.
good amount.
Okay, what is,
I mean,
it's-
like a car?
Let's-
Like what is it?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good amount.
I think let's just say it's thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Is that for a certain amount of time? that it
yeah.
stays up? Okay.
They're usually campaigns, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, however that works.
Mhm.
But, again, I love the way John says, make bold choices and the universe will reward you. And I think that's kind of what we all
Fortune
agreed on.
favors the bold.
Yeah. And so, sure. Yeah. If you're driving down Broadway, right by Herman's Hideaway, headed northbound, you're going to see a 48-foot billboard with Happy Friday on it. And that process in itself
Congratulations.
was really interesting because we didn't put our dumb faces on it.
I was gonna say I'd want my face on there.
Yeah, there was some talks of that, but it's pretty cool. We got like these deer looking at like a 1990s computer,
It's a monitor.
which is
Okay.
powered by a computer, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah. It's a monitor that's plugged into a computer.
So
Is it on your Facebook or Instagram?
if you pull up,
Happy Friday.
if you go to Happy Friday's Facebook or Twitter, you will see it because we have it as the cover photo.
and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Kev.
Yeah, but you cut me all the time. It's okay. I'm used to that, guys.
But he's the best racer, so sometimes you got to give him a hard pass.
I also host a podcast. It's called Mash the Gas. I'll get that plug in there. We just won top 10 best NASCARs podcast, which is pretty
Mash
exciting.
The Gas podcast.
You were a guest host on that this week.
I was, and it was an honor.
Interesting,
And if you're into NASCAR, that's where you're gonna get the best detailed information after the race.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
But-
it's an old monitor. It's a random looking billboard. It just looks really random. You got deer looking at a super old computer, sitting there from the 90s, and it's a news-ish podcast.
It is a News Just podcast. Yeah, and JD, if you pull it up, I don't know if it's on our IG. I think you got to go to
How do we not
Facebook
have this on the IG?
or Twitter. We could get it up there, Art. We'll get it up there.
We'll do that today.
We're going to talk to our social media manager about that when we get done here on Left Hand Right Brain.
Yes.
But the whole billboard thing was kind of cool because we worked with this company called Outfront Media. Shout out to Reed. Those guys over there did a fantastic job. There it is. Kind of creating this artwork for this.
Gotcha.
Making it fun, catching somebody's eye. We didn't just want it to be just Happy Friday with our faces on it, right? So these guys did a great artwork design, and they gave us 7 proposals for this of what we could choose from, and we had to do a process of elimination, and that's the one that made the most sense.
Very random. The crinkles in it are actually intentional.
Those are intentional.
It was meant to look imperfect, like with how it's put up. So it kind of looks shitty on purpose. And we love that. It's just fun, man. And that's the thing.
That's what you were going for? Make it look shitty on purpose?
Yes. And that's the thing is it doesn't like it. As long as you're enjoying right now and you're having fun currently in your life, does any result even matter? Because if you're enjoying the present all the time, because right now is the only thing that's actually happening. And if you can really enjoy that time,
So it's like, is that billboard even there right now if we're not witnessing it?
maybe not.
If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
But I had so much fun going there, doing that photo shoot that day. It's all about those kind of little things, little moments. Even sitting here with you right now, experiencing the new setup for the first time. And we're within your first 4 or 5 on here
Of
with
the
video.
YouTube ones?
Since he's got video.
Yeah.
Show.
And that's cool, man. I want to say there's not a lot of folks around the city of Denver doing what you're doing. So I mean, as a
Feels
podcast
like
king of
there's
Denver,
a bunch of people doing podcasts.
doing podcasts,
Yeah,
yes.
but they might be a flash in the pan. You're a fixture in the city, and
thank
you're
you.
also upgrading and reinvesting in yourself. And
That's the difference.
there's energy behind that. I was feeling it driving here today.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah,
No, that's
well,
the
I'm glad.
difference for sure. No, you've definitely set a roadmap for what Denver podcasting looks like. You've been in the
Oh,
game
interesting.
way longer than we have. Again, John X, JD, we've always looked up to you guys. You've set the roadmap for what Denver podcasting should look like, and it continues. Obviously, I mean, since the last time I've been in the studio, the upgrades you made, the commitment you've made to Left Hand Right Brain, and joining the Mile High Life Network. I mean, there's a reason that these guys believe in you and invest in you.
Yeah. That's nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
man.
need to hear it sometimes,
Yeah, hard work pays off.
It can be thankless work.
For show. Faux show.
But as long as you're enjoying it,
Yes, I do enjoy the conversation, so that's what keeps me coming back.
like never once did I finish recording a podcast and I was like, that fucking sucked. Like even if it was a shitty show and we couldn't drop it, like I wasn't sitting here like, wow, I wasted my time there. Like,
sure, yeah.
I've always
I guess I've
enjoyed
never
it.
felt that.
I've
yeah.
always enjoyed it afterwards. Like even if I didn't want to do it before, I was like, feeling lazy that day or whatever. Like, oh God, I got this shit to go do. But then when I finish it, I'm always like, worth it.
Did your lady listen to the pod?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it
She-
is weird.
She's fucked.
It's kind of a weird parasocial relationship in a way where it's like she knows way more about you right
Yeah,
off the bat
and
than
she
you can know about her.
And she's like a ghost on social media, so I don't
like a ghost.
I can't even like go look at pictures. Like she didn't have nothing, so she has all this extra ammo on me. Yeah, it's true. That's how it goes.
Extra ammo. That's how you see it.
Yeah. Like she can figure out so much more. Like I'm trying to be a mysterious man because that's fun, but like she has all this like material that she could go look at.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no
you're
mystery
screwed
at
with that
this
too,
point.
Kev.
Well, I mean, I think all three of us in this room can agree. I mean, we've said so many things on the air that have been documented, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I remember John coming in and saying, I heard you're into butt stuff because I talked about it on Left Hand Right Brain on my first appearance. And I'm like, I
Oh,
did?
okay.
I was like, I don't even remember talking about that. So you forget some of the shit you say on mic sometimes. And then people will come to me like, oh, I heard you talking about this. I'm like, huh, I guess that was on mic, wasn't it? And that's a weird feeling. I'm sure you can attest to it. You've done more pods than we have.
Oh yeah. I've definitely gotten in some hot water with some things I've said. People in the scene being like, "Hey man, why'd you say that?" or blah blah blah. Even though I've tried not to say names or anything like that, it's just, stuff happens. People know, because it's that comedy scene here is such a tight knit community.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really. Sometimes I get too I don't know.
You're too
loose
open.
lipped.
You're too
with
open?
certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like other people's personal business. Sometimes, I do like to joke around that I'm, Denver's #1 comedy gossip podcast. So I do like that kind of stuff. I like talking about
Well, if
relationships.
no one else is saying it,
Yeah.
if no one else is saying it and you're the one saying it, then it's true.
I don't know if that line of
No,
I don't know if that would hold up in court, but yeah.
No, it's facts. Because for the longest time, we were like, Discussion Combustion is Denver's podcast. And then people started saying it back to us. And we're like, dude, if we didn't just fucking say that we were that.
Sure, you're like manifesting certain things.
Yeah,
But what I'm talking about is like other people's kind of personal business sometimes.
Right.
So I've recently, I got into a mode where I'm like, no one's listening, so I could just say whatever.
But
And
people are-
pretty recently, yeah, that kind of bit me a little
Okay,
bit.
okay.
Learned a lesson. Maybe don't get in other people's personal business too much. Just open my eyes to certain things about like, okay, this might, because some people do listen. So and it might
Yeah.
not be the best thing to portray someone in a certain type of light, kind of thing. So I'm trying to
Mhm.
grow and listen, grow from that, and but also it's fun. So trying to find a balance there, but also be respectful and then the parasocial thing I think is interesting because you can hear other people talk about stuff on their podcast, and you're like, okay, this person just talks about whatever on their podcast. So I guess I could just be flippant about
Yeah.
whatever I'm, discussing them or whatnot. And it's like, but also, people listen, so you got to kind of keep that in mind as well. Cause you could, hurt some people's reps in certain ways.
Yeah,
But I think a lot of people are joking like, hey, you like butt stuff or whatever. But like,
yeah.
somebody might get offended by that,
And isn't that kind of a weird thing that we got to think about too? Because like, as I sit here on this couch, like I forget we're even recording. Obviously we're all conditioned. I'm talking to a mic, there's cameras around, but
so
it's like,
used to it. You're such a natural.
thank you.
You
I
just,
appreciate that. You make me so comfy, JD.
well, the couch is a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean the couch is good. Honestly, the couch influenced us to do couches in the new studio.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking get rid of the couch, although I do think everybody's going to 2 chairs and a thing in the middle and a table in the middle. I'm like, I don't know, maybe the couch is.
No, and you look like such a boss over there. Like I'm like sitting
I
here.
do feel like I need to keep a separation.
Yeah, I'm sitting
No,
over
that's
here
good.
like I'm like, dog.
The
JD
guest.
is so bossy right now. And the
It's
way
good. It's a good
the way
host
he has his
position.
hair
I'm like
slicked
above
back
you
and-
guys, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing. There's a lot of things happening right now,
a lot
and
of subtle psychological things.
I feel your masculine energy, and I feel like
you will have another scotch.
I could be
He'll have
slight-
another scotch.
I could be
okay,
slightly
Kev?
submissive right now. I feel like
And see,
I'm in a weakened state.
these are the
Wow.
kind of things that we're talking about. Is you can say things like that on a podcast that could either
Be
offend
interpreted
someone, bring up a conversation, come back to bite you, right? And I think like the longer you do it, the more things that have been documented. There is things I think about because I mean I've said some questionable things on the air, JD. I have over the DCPC years, not so much on Happy Friday, but I've said things where people
It's a
are
tight
like,
ship on Happy Friday.
"It's a tight ship. It's a tight ship." We're a little
Mhm.
more laid back on DCPC, of course, but again, I think you talk long enough, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be like, "Oh, I don't. This guy, this and that and the other."
Yeah.
And there's always going to be the haters. There's always going to be the lovers. You don't do it for the haters or the lovers. You do it because you can't not do it. And I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah, I do feel that. That's a good way to put it. I'd rather not. Yeah. Yeah, I do love doing it. So you're right there.
I mean, it's fun to create. It really is, and I guess you just gotta know what really
Whew.
fulfills your needs, right? Like, because in life, like it's so quick. Like, I mean, I'm 36. I that's still pretty fast. Like, that's coming up on the halfway mark.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting. So the more time you can fill doing things that actually make you feel full, like you're accomplishing something that means something, even if you put your
Yep. I
you
said it
put it
before,
all
and
on the
I'll say it again.
line.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
I love how he had that queued up. I
Well,
love
I
how he
just
had that queued up.
that's like this is what he's saying right here.
It moves very fast. And so what I got to say with the podcasting thing is if you get offended by other people's opinions, then that's just weak. Okay. Because people do have different opinions and you can't change that fact. And so if you're going to sit here and react the fact that somebody disagrees with you and like allow that to knock you off your center for the day and you're reacting to somebody else's opinion, that's weak. So at any point, if you're listening to JD talk, you're listening to Kevin talk or myself talk, and we said something that offended you, like, just keep moving on with your day. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, maybe don't even listen. That's the thing. Is like people want to get so upset nowadays, but it's all because internet. Like, you can talk all this shit, but if you sit us in the same room, somebody that was mad dogging me or mad dogging Kev or mad dogging you, and we all sat in the same room, I guarantee you there would be a lot of similarities. There would actually be a lot of respect, but it's because people aren't actually face to face. They like act in this certain way. And so like I know it's kind of a rabbit hole, like where I'm going with that, from being listened to on podcasts to people getting offended and then the internet like kind of romancing this drama. Like, you get people in the same room, same space. It's just not the same.
Yes, I get what you're saying there, like other people's opinions of you or know your business kind of a thing. But also, I think I could be more caring. I mean, I'd like to try and think about being more caring and what I'm bringing into the world. I want to be positive. So that's just something I think I would like to carry into, the next, what I'm doing in these, what I'm doing with the podcast now. So have you read the 4 agreements? I know we talked about that a couple pods ago.
I do have that book.
We were talking about everything you say is like is a spell you're putting out. Like your words
Mhm.
have power. So when you're putting things out there, I mean, he also talks a lot about gossip, but
So
being black
I've read it.
magic, although
I need to do a
I
reread.
enjoy gossip.
I haven't reread that, and I've forgotten the material.
Be impeccable with your words is one of them,
Mhm.
I mean, although nothing I'd say is I don't think it's untrue or whatever, but also, again, other people's business is their business, and maybe it's not. I don't need to mine it just for my own content. I think that's kind of
And
I want to be above that. I want to be
and
better.
I do
So
agree with that. And then I'll let you take it, Kev. But yes, we do need to be mindful. We're in a position to be heard. If people get offended, whatever. And but at the same time, we also should be mindful about what we're actually trying to do, and what's our purpose in life, and are we fulfilling that purpose?
sure.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we do here in the podcast world is we create a relatable environment. Right? I mean, the show is you're listening to stuff that people can relate to, feel like you can have a scotch and a beer, hang out, listen to it, right? So when you have those kind of exchanges and conversations, things are going to be said at times. And JD, you're in the stand-up comedy world, which is a lot of people get offended by.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's also a questionable area too, because here you're doing left hand, right brain, and then maybe you're going to go do an open mic tonight or whatever, and some of your material. I mean, I'm sure the experience you have doing that, people have gotten offended by your comedy as well. So how do you balance that?
I mean, I think you got to step over the line a little bit to know where that is. So I guess I try not to. Ultimately, I don't think I'm trying to make anybody or do anything negative or do anything to spite anybody, things like that. So I think that comes off in what where I'm coming from. So if so that just kind of speaks for itself. I don't have like any hate in my heart for anything like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, so most of the things I do don't come off that way just naturally,
Your
but
energy, your
also
aura is.
yeah,
Look, everyone. I believe the sixth sense is intuition, and we can sense other people's auras. That's
yeah,
part of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so ultimately I don't think I'm doing anything that bad. But I mean every now and then you do step in something, step in
Mhm.
some shit, and then you just hopefully you have the self-reflection, the self-evaluation, the emotional intelligence to recalibrate and move forward with that.
Mhm.
Uh and ultimately, I mean, that's I think what makes somebody a good comedian, because they're aware of what they're doing and how they're doing things, so and how they're presenting themselves, things like that. So it's also what makes a good narcissist, serial killer, things like that. So we're all evaluating what we're doing. um, Hopefully, it's just one thing's more genuine than the other. Yeah, I don't know. That sounded bad, but I can't help but try to make a joke.
How
It's in my nature.
if you were to have to dispose of human remains, like a human body, how would you go about it?
It's getting dark.
We talked about this, I think, on a couple podcasts ago. Well, I think we talked about eating people.
Eating people.
I think we did talk about that on one of our first discussion combustions. But I know there are a lot of abandoned mines in the mountains here,
Hmm.
so that might be. I don't know. I don't know where one is, but I guess I think that's where That's where my mind goes.
Yeah, I don't think Colorado's a good state for killing people. If you want,
What's your bet? What do you think the best one is?
if you want to do that, if you need to, if the circumstances absolutely permit themselves, you need to be near oceans and more like around gators. I would
Right,
say
something
like
that's going to eat the body pretty
yeah,
quick.
yeah, like and you need to go out into these marshes and like really that's where it needs to go. Or
Like Carol Baskin did. That's how she got rid of her husband.
is that?
It's a theory.
It's a theory.
That's the Tiger King lady.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. That's it. That's what I got.
Or you could starve some pigs for a little while
Actually,
and then
yeah.
have them eat that. But again, you got to get a pig farm
do
somewhere.
they eat
Good
the
point.
bones?
Yep, they'll eat everything.
Oh, especially
Really?
if they're hungry.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll
yeah,
tear
so
it
you
up.
gotta-
Hmm.
They'll tear it up. Would you ever do wildlife in your yard, like chickens or goats or cows?
We have a chicken coop in the backyard from a previous
Mhm.
renter.
Right now?
Yeah.
Is it active?
No.
Okay.
It's a lot of work to raise chicks.
I bet. I've never done it. So
When you do it, they have to be inside for a little while. Like when they're hatched for a little while, they have to be inside, and then you take them out. My wife's looked into it pretty extensively, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Chicks are a lot of work.
Yeah, you got that right.
But ultimately worth it, I think, in that
Oh,
respect.
yeah. I mean, you get eggs. You get.
Oh, were you not talking about your girlfriend at this point?
Oh no, I was talking about chickens.
Okay. You
Yeah,
said chicks, and I thought you were talking
Sure.
about.
yeah. I mean, come
You
on.
think
We
she'll
know how
listen
this
to
goes.
this?
A little bit of play our words.
She's gonna listen.
She may. It depends. If, I'll share the link.
You're gonna share a link with her directly. You're gonna text it to her.
I'm gonna promote this episode.
I was curious
in
if
every
she went to
episode.
one of the states that you were just gonna say were good for murdering.
Um.
Is that where she's visiting right now?
Well, she'll be in Florida not too long from now, so
Gators.
potentially. I'm not gonna say anything else.
Yeah.
You've said too much.
I almost got too loose off this tenure right here. I almost just said
Tighten it up, Art.
I'm on a podcast right now. Okay,
Yeah, keep
so
tight.
that's one interesting thing about podcasting is sometimes I do remember I'm on mic, and then I'm like, oh wait, I can't say exactly everything that I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, we just talked about that.
How would you dispose of a body, Kevin? You're just saying when you unsaid it.
It's not something I've ever really thought of, but I guess I would take a page out of Jeffrey Dahmer's book if I was going to do it. He's got like that.
And eat him?
No, I wouldn't eat him. I don't think I could do it because I have a very sensitive gag reflex. So I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think. I wouldn't be able to consume it. But if I was going to dispose, I think it would have to be an acid, like a 5, whatever size gallon bucket he had.
50?
I don't think it was 50. He had this massive gallon acid thing in his house that he would put these body parts in, right? So I mean, you have to get rid of it that way, I guess.
God, imagine the way that would smell.
Well, so his neighbors complained about the smell. So I guess the idea is not to do it in your fucking house. You would do that somewhere else, right? So it kind of dissolves the remains or whatever. Because I feel like digging a shallow grave and all that stuff's not going to work. But I just haven't put too much thought on disposing of a body. I don't plan on doing killing, JD.
All right, it's good to have that on wax. Me either. By the way, I would never.
But I do carry a firearm if I need to defend
You have
myself.
one on you right now?
Well, I might.
Did you leave it in the car?
I might.
You brought it into my house.
I might be concealed carried. I don't know. No, I respect your house. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a firearm?
No, I have a sword under the couch.
Have you ever shot a firearm?
Yeah,
What was
but it was like a joke that these guys played on me and my friends who had the country that lived out in the country in Greeley. His uncle came over and we were shooting his rifle, or they were shooting his rifle.
Yeah.
And they had me do it, but they knew that I wasn't gonna have it up to my shoulder the right way or whatever, and it kicks back.
You?
No.
Oh, that's
they were
messed
just
up.
because it was a joke for them.
It's a firearm.
And the thing popped back, hit me in the eye. I had a black eye from the sight hitting me in the eye.
Well, you got scope
so
eye.
Messed
Yeah.
up, man.
That sucks,
so
bro.
so honestly, those aren't good friends. We were talking about friends earlier today.
It was his uncle letting me do it. Yeah.
Just fucking with you.
But when
Yeah.
you're dealing with a firearm, this thing can at any moment kill something. And no jokes, when firearms are involved, I disapprove of that act that those people did.
Thank you.
I disapprove.
thank
I
you.
agree with that. I mean, there's no joking around with firearms,
No.
and I think that's something that needs to be driven home. We're huge 2A guys. We talk about a lot on DCPC. We've done DCPC Gone Shooting, which we'd like to invite you to come join us
Oh,
with.
interesting.
You could shoot my AR-15 if you'd
Oh.
like. But everything is about safety. It's about being educated on the weapon, being safe with it. Too many people are just. I think that's the problem we have right now, JD. I mean, there's so much talk about gun control and all this stuff, and there is measures that need to be taken. But I think the biggest thing that we're lacking is just education. Generally people don't know what they're dealing with, and they think I'm going to go buy this weapon and just start going nuts with it. And people do that. And I think that there is measures that could be taken. Maybe, I'm open to hearing ideas and legislation that could regulate some of that. But at the end of the day, the Second Amendment was designed for us to, shall
Make
not
sure
be
the
infringed.
British doesn't come back and take all our guns.
Yeah, you take the Boston Tea Party.
Well, they've really fell off a lot since all that, didn't they?
You mean Britain?
Yeah, I mean they're not even part of the European Union anymore.
Well,
I mean,
Brexit, they had Brexit, which
mean,
a lot of
holy
folks aren't
shit.
happy about over there. But obviously, it's a big topic here in America. We were dealing with this gun stuff, so and it's not, and it's a serious situation. We saw folks getting shot at the Denver Nuggets parade earlier this week. It's unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. I don't advocate for any of that bullshit. Be responsible, be educated, pay attention to what's going on with your firearms. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I would like to learn. I mean, I've seen. It is interesting since I moved out of my parents' house. They have guns now. It wasn't something I was aware of when I was a kid.
Mhm.
But I see Instagram reels of my sister going shooting and things like that. I do think I do think it's a good skill to have, like that. Learning how to ride a motorcycle. I want to learn how to ride a horse. I think these are all things I want to do in the next year. Those are all goals of mine. I mean, I guess I don't need to like Rambo it to know how to like put together and take it apart with my blindfolded and things like that. But just I mean, to know how to like put the safety on and like
you
how
should
to
know how
how
to
to
operate
take the
a
bullets out.
firearm, and if it ever went down, like how to clear it properly, make sure that it's safe.
How would that serve me to
So
know how to clear it properly?
let's
What
say
does that mean?
so let's say like that you're in a situation, and all of a sudden you have a firearm, and we're not going to be using it, and so we want to make sure it's safe, and it's put away properly without a live bullet in the chamber, basically. So you drop the magazine, and then you rack it back one time. That's going to eject the live round, and then it's cleared, and it can't hurt anybody at that point in time.
Okay, so let's say I'm doing a podcast with these guys. I didn't know he brought a gun. He passes out. I call the ambulance. His gun fell out when he passed out.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, I don't know what to do with this gun. So if I knew how to clear it,
Yes, yeah.
then I could
and,
be
and then
like,
that way it's safe. Like you're
Right.
not going to accident. Like if the trigger gets pulled, there's nothing there
by
to
my
go
dog.
off.
My dog,
I mean,
Sergeant Pepper.
yeah, she loves.
Pepper is a
firearms.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
No, but you're hitting on the right point there, Art. I mean, the idea is drop the mag, rack the slide, eject any round that's in the weapon, right? And then it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the trigger should not be pulled. Let's say that. Let's just start with that.
Trigger discipline needs to be a thing
Yes,
always.
finger trigger discipline has to be a thing. You shouldn't be pulling that trigger unless your life depends on it. Let's start there. If you're just ripping rounds, other than a gun range or a backyard, dugout or whatever, in a safe environment, that trigger should not be being pulled. Period.
Yeah, you don't even you don't even you always treat a firearm even when it is cleared.
Do both of you guys have concealed carries?
I do.
I need to get my concealed.
It just makes you feel safe.
I think yes, it does. Absolutely.
Just curious. So like
Yeah, it
my
does.
hands are lethal weapons. So I mean, I feel pretty safe. But
You could throw them fists. Yeah.
So here's my whole my mentality on it. There's crazy people out there right now that are reckless and are willing to kill me over a road rage accident.
Which has happened recently.
They're out there.
I think it happened last week.
It did.
Correct.
It did. And so with all these crazies out there with guns, why shouldn't we have some good old honest boys that would help people with lethal protection if needed? Like, it's about me protecting myself and people that I love, and then also if whatever scenario ever popped off,
You feel safer with the gun.
can I?
You'd rather have a gun
Well,
than
and
not have a
can
gun.
I also help others? Because the guns exist. We're not making them disappear. So that lethal force exists. And isn't it good to have that lethal force in reasonable hands? Like that's how I feel about it. Like if crazy people are out there with guns, why shouldn't there be some people out there that are really responsible that also own firearms?
Like police officers.
For the majority, yes.
Majority, yeah. I mean, there's some obviously reckless police officers with weapons that shoot unnecessarily. But to Art's point, I mean, we look at like a Boulder situation, right?
The grocery store shooting.
Yeah,
You mean?
at King
Okay.
Supers in Boulder. I mean, this guy goes in there and starts opening. Oh, just open it up, and takes out people. As a guy that open carries / conceals carries, I could have defended against those folks. I would like to think I would have taken him out.
I get nervous though. Like what if like you're in that situation and you go to take out an active shooter and then you get shot because they think you're the active
And now
shooter?
he has more guns. Okay, I thought the active shooter was going to shoot you. Do you mean like other cops that are there on the scene would shoot you?
Yeah, because like let's say you're on the scene. There's no
way to
law
tell the
enforcement
difference.
at this point in time, and you have a firearm and you see somebody unjustly taking life, and they need to be stopped immediately. Then you stop them, and then when
and then you better unrack that.
yeah, like
the
you need
load
you
or
need to
whatever
do
you guys
something
were saying.
correct.
You guys had all the terminology.
Like I get nervous about that scenario. Like what if
Have you guys ever been in an active shooter situation?
I have not. Thank goodness. I hope I never do.
I've been in two.
Really?
That's more than I've been in.
Yeah, and I don't know if I had a gun if I'd feel differently about it. I mean, I was just I at the Belmar Mall. like over a year ago now. But when that guy was went on his shooting spree, and they shot him right outside the Dick's Sporting Goods. I was in that Dick's Sporting Goods when that
jeez.
happened.
Wow.
And they had us go to the back and hide out in this room. But I mean, it was scary because everyone was like looking on their phones. They're like, "Oh, I heard there are 2 shooters. No, there's just one."
And,
And then they're like, "Oh, he's in the parking garage right next to us." And like we were in the back space that like the door down the hall opened into that parking garage. So it was like, is he gonna come in through here? And we were all just like sitting there. I was like, so it's like I don't know if having a gun would make me feel better in that situation.
Well, so in that situation, if you did have a firearm,
I would have just went out into that parking lot, and then he wasn't even there. So
no, it depends. But in that specific situation, I would let everybody know that I'm with, that I have a firearm, and I'm gonna defend this room, and I'm holding it in my hand now.
Okay, so you're like at the front door waiting.
Yeah,
for something to go down.
I'm a.
You wouldn't go out hunting.
If I was with a group of people, I would defend that group of people, and that's the last step that you want to take is to actually fight, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
at first you should defend, like that's your main thing, and then from there, like, because if you're protecting a group of people and you're in a room that potentially is, if a shooter came into that room and everyone's tightly packed, that's a lot of damage. And so if you had a firearm in that case, I would be like, hey, everyone, I have a firearm. I'm going to defend the door. And then that would make everyone feel a lot more confident.
Interesting.
That's how I feel about that.
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in that situation. I worked in the grocery business for so long. And so, like, when Boulder happened, it really kind of hit close because I was always working in King Soopers and doing stuff like that. I think just knowing that you have the ability to defend with lethal force if necessary, because let's not forget, if you're pulling that weapon out of your concealed carry, out of your hip holster, if you draw that weapon, you plan to pull the trigger. There is no, hey, look, I'm tough and waving that shit around. I don't stand for any of that. Brandishing a weapon is bullshit, and you should be penalized for doing it.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's unnecessary. It's poor gun etiquette is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, half the time folks don't even know if I'm carrying or not. It's not about, hey, I'm, a big tough gun guy. Sure, I own an AR-15. That's great, which a lot of people, want to ban. But I'm not carrying that thing around and wheeling around. That's more for sport, and I just want to set the record straight on that a little bit.
Like to hunt sport or just shooting?
Technical shooting at 100 yards,
okay.
Gun ranges, things like that. And yes, you can hunt with an AR-15. It's a 223 5.56 round.
This is like a military grade gun. Sorry, I just don't know the difference.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's so, an M16 would be a military grade, which would be a fully automatic AR-15. Best way I can,
And that's what you have.
I have an AR-15,
but not an automatic one.
It's not automatic. And so, again, as a American citizen, you cannot own a fully automatic rifle, right? So for folks that don't know the gun laws,
which is me, yeah.
Yep. So when you hear the term AR, people think assault
military
rifle.
Yeah.
They think assault rifle. They think that's what it stands for. It doesn't. It stands for armor light rifle, which dates back to early 70s, late 60s. It's a style of rifle that was developed, and it got a bad name. Folks think, AK-47. Honestly, an AK-47 7.62 round is more powerful, could be more powerful than a 223 5.56 round. So, again, at the end of the day, I think back to my opening point on this, it just comes back to a little bit of education,
Sure.
And
having, I think we could all benefit from that.
Absolutely. And just having, decent conversations about it, because it's an emotional topic. People get very upset. No one needs to own these, rifles, this and that. And no, I don't think everybody should own an AR-15. A lot of folks shouldn't. It's a very powerful weapon, but so is my 9mm, with hollow point ammunition. That's the weapon of my choice.
I think of Lethal Weapon 3 where they're like, they got hollow points because it's armor piercing bullets. There's a cop killers.
Well, and I want to talk about how important hollow points are to have in your personal defense.
Home defense, yeah.
Yeah, because hollow points will create maximum damage to whoever is intruding, and also decrease collateral damage. Because a hollow point isn't going to pass through a body, pass through
a wall,
the sheetrock behind you and everything like that. Yeah, but your typical range round 9mm slug will go through a body, go through a wall, and then potentially hurt somebody else. So I think hollow points are actually really important for home defense, because it's going to maximize the damage that you do to somebody and decrease the collateral damage that could happen from dispersing that.
I've heard I think it's Chappelle has a joke about buckshot and like rock salt or like versus birdshot, and he was like, "Oh, my shotgun, it's like birdshot, but if it's like a crazy," he does a big great,
Mhm.
but if it's like a crazy cracked out guy, it's like buckshot or birdshot's not gonna work. Then it's buckshot, 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 or something like that.
Yeah,
Birdshot, buckshot,
Chappelle's
birdshot,
great.
buckshot, buckshot, buckshot.
Buckshot. Burr's got a good joke too. I don't know if you ever heard Bill Burr. He opened up with that black and white comedy where he's talking about, man, I want to get a gun.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite specials is the black and white one.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Like I think he opens up with that bit. I want to get a gun.
Yeah, and it's like it's in all different places, or
Yep.
and he's got to go around assembling his gun.
Yeah, he's
running
like,
away
oh
from-
yeah, the stock's in the garage. The magazine is in the closet. He's like, he's in there. He's gonna stab me. I love Bill Burr, man.
Yeah, so good.
Probably my favorite comedian of all time. Second, that'd be Theo Von.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've just been recently listening to a lot of Theo Von podcasts, and I know you guys went and saw him at Comedy Works. You guys big Theo Von fans?
I mean, I would say I am. I can't speak for Art. We had a chance to hang out with Theo. We tried to get him to do discussion combustion, and his response was fantastic to it. Art, I'll let you take that.
I asked.
Yeah, it's a
him.
bold move. I mean, I haven't even gone to Comedy Works and asked any headliners to
I-
be on the pod.
I mean, I was like, so you're in town for a little bit. Do you want to do a podcast with us? And he thought about it, and he was like, no.
It was so good.
and it was all respect, like, and we laughed
Yeah.
just like that with him. But one thing I really do like about Theo is his authenticity and talking about the tough times too, because it's so fun to highlight the great things in life, and it's important to do that. Like, we should celebrate, but there's a lot of tough times too, and he's been open and upfront with that sort of stuff, and it motivates people to also take that same journey and make our lives better. And it's not always an easy path to walk on. So I respect the man for doing that, and we got to highlight that a little bit.
I've been watching all these videos of him, like his split with Chris D'Elia and Brendan Schaub. I've been watching all these videos that are just like podcast gossip, like YouTube videos about comedy podcast gossip or like drama, and I love it because the whole like Bobby Lee Kalila thing with Brendan Schaub. I mean, it's like breaking all of it down. They're like, oh, Bobby just said on this podcast and blah blah blah, and that's like from 2 years ago, and he said this and this, and it's like it's just crazy the work these guys are putting in to these podcasts.
It is. And the pod drama, I can agree with too. Because I mean,
drama.
Even going back to, I don't know if you're familiar with, Christina Pajitsky.
Yeah, Christina P.
Right. Being on, Christina P, who I love. I had the chance to visit with her. She's
coming to Comedy Works.
fantastic. Yep. I had a chance to hang out with her. She was a lot of fun.
No, interesting.
The drama going back to your mom's house, right? Back before they moved to Austin and got this epic studio, there was all this drama going around that Theo Von, there was these rumors that Theo Von and Christina P hooked up during the Road Rules days, right? And so finally Theo Von shows up on YMH, and then Tom Segura does this past weekend with Theo. I mean, those guys kind of, I think, are paving the way for what podcasting is in the comedy world, right?
Yeah.
We see so many. When you look at podcasts and like what's the most successful, it's comedians. I mean, Joe Rogan obviously is number one. You look at Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer with Two Bears, One Cave and Your Mom's House. You look at Theo Von with this past weekend. You looked at what they were doing with King and the Sting. King and the Sting was so fantastic. It was one of my favorite podcasts. And then, Theo said, man, I just can't do it. I'm moving to Nashville. I can't do it, Brendan, anymore. And now Brendan's doing it with D'Elia and they renamed it
Eric Griffin.
And Eric Griffin. They renamed it to the Something Hour.
Okay.
I
had to rebrand, huh?
They rebranded it, man, and it's just not as good anymore. So, pod drama.
I mean, they lost a Rat King right there,
dude. I mean, I was a big Chris D'Elia fan. I mean, and even after the first allegations came out, I was still like defending him. But then when that like special came out, or like that hour-long YouTube thing, and I was just like, oh man, I can't do it anymore. It lost its the shine is off.
So do you got some stand-up coming up?
Like shows?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Anyway, back to pod drama.
Damn it, that was underwhelming. Because
you want to talk about pod drama?
Would you want to bring some
Let's
pod
do it.
drama?
Let's do pod drama.
I was always like, hey, we
What do
should
we
get some
got?
pod beef. Not me and you, but like, I thought
I mean,
that might help
we
the
could do
podcast.
it for the listens.
So I'll do it right now. So do you remember John X? And I think you guys
Jonathan
were talking.
Ekstrom?
Yeah, John.
Oh, you're gonna
No,
bring
I'm-
Paul Caroli up, aren't you?
I am going to bring Paul
I
Caroli
fucking
up.
knew
Oh.
it. I
I
knew
mean,
he
and I'm
was
not
very
gonna
close
bring up
friend, Paul Caroli. Very
So
close friend.
I just want to say, Paul Caroli, if it wasn't for Paul Caroli, we would have never met John Ekstrom.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So let me
That is true.
start there. I have nothing against Paul Caroli. I think he's fantastic, and I love what he's done for
Yeah,
this
you
city.
guys should reach out, have him on the pod again.
So we
Are you kidding me right now?
so we're not gonna get into why Paul didn't do Discussion Combustion. That's another story.
I think he would do
But-
it. I think
well,
he would do
We
it.
invited no. Okay, so we give everyone 2 chances, and he did a good job on communicating that he's not going to show up because we've had people just straight up ghost.
Okay.
Like we're like, where's the fucking guest at? Paul didn't do that to us, but he couldn't do it twice, and at that point, that's it.
He was the most
I
professional
get
about
it.
it.
I get it.
He was the
Yeah.
most professional about it. But I remember going back to a fuck, marry, kill situation,
Mm.
right? And
That
JD,
I brought up on John's
Yes.
like 10-year anniversary episode.
You did.
and so it came down to, I think it was us, you, and Paul Caroli.
Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
John decided to kill Paul Caroli.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yep. Yep.
He wanted to fuck us, and he was going to marry you. So
That turned out to be a lie.
kind of funny how that worked out, didn't it, John? Your thoughts?
He wanted to fuck us and marry us. Apparently.
Yeah, yes.
Jesus, John,
I think it's good that you guys overcame.
calm.
You guys overcame to become you're in pod bed together.
Podbed. I like that term. Yeah.
It sounds cozy. It sounds like it's
Yeah,
it's like a
nice.
capsule.
Yeah. I think
pod
John's
bed.
in the middle of you guys. Like
Oh, that's a
he's
good
being
spot.
a sandwich.
That's a really fun
Jonathan
spot.
sandwich.
Mm.
We love you, John.
That boy, he got the meat.
And we love Paul Caroli too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Paul Caroli's great. I do think. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy,
He is.
He-
and he's a
is.
close personal friend. So I would encourage you as
To reach out again.
yeah. And I'm sorry that it didn't happen.
You know, if anyone gets,
Let's bring him in, Paul. Go ahead. Come on. I'm just joking.
come on, Paul, come on.
Come on in.
No, I would love to have him on Discussion Combustion.
I mean, if I'm the pod king of Denver, he's like the pod duke. He's like a
The
pod.
Duke.
He's like a pod earl. He's like right there.
I mean, the man he's been involved in all of Denver's
Kick-ass Duke.
biggest like pod movements.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Like
involved.
He's been involved. Like he's a fixture in Denver, and we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know
Hands
this.
down.
We know this.
Absolutely. Give respect where respect's
Mhm.
due. Paul Caroli has paved, again, we talked about with JD Lopez, John Ekstrom, Paul
Mhm.
Caroli. These are the guys that have done podcasting in Denver, right? And paved the way. And then here's our dumbasses that show up into the scene in 2019, thinking that we can hang with the big boys.
You know, all we do is just crack a couple cold ones, kick back, collaborate, and clackle. I wanted to have another C word in there, but I don't. Is it? It's a laugh. A clack. Is it clack? Clackle. Is that a
Cackle.
word?
I,
A
Is it-
cackle is a word. A cackle.
Cackle
Yeah,
and cackle.
like a witch cackles.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy told me I had a cackle one time.
You're like laughing in the.
Yeah, I mean, that stuck with me.
Man, this left hand, right brain, man. This has been. I feel like I'm part of this couch now.
Yeah, you're one with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are doing great stuff in the pod scene here. Appreciate you guys. Always being open to doing stuff, and you guys are always good cheerleaders for everything in the scene. So I appreciate everything you guys do, and I'll let you guys sign off however you see fit. Listen to Mash the Gas, listen to Discussion Combustion. Wherever you get podcasts, you can listen to Happy Friday wherever you get podcasts.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to?
Well, thank you, JD. Okay, because I feel like you do bring that good aura and energy in everything that you do, and whenever I'm invited onto a show, it's always an honor. And I'm gonna kind of steal this from John, but you thought of us, and you believe into us enough to invite us over here, man. And so thank you for letting us be a part of it. Everybody listening in, thank you so much. Everybody watching now on Left Hand Right Brain, welcome to the new experience. Excuse me. Check out Discussion. Check out Discussion Combustion. Check out Happy Friday Denver. Check out Mash the Gas podcast. John of All Trades podcast. Let's Get Drunk, Talk About Your Wedding podcast. Check out Mile High Life Network. I got to give them a plug right now.
Yeah.
There's so many awesome podcasts on there. Did That Age Well, Molly Smith. So many great things.
Yeah, Kip needs to put some of my episodes on this thing.
Yeah, let's go.
We got 3 happy Fridays on these
It's
widgets.
too much. That's
No
too
left hand
much.
right brands. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Kev.
Although I haven't, to be fair, I haven't emailed him with anything in a minute.
We got to full send it. And I just appreciate everybody for supporting Left Hand Right Brain, what we do on all of our platforms, and I'm living my best life right now, and this is part of it, and I'm happy I get to share it with everybody.
That's very nice.
What you got, Kev?
Again, I just love having a good time hanging out, man. Having some scotch, some beers. Left Hand Right Brain, so fantastic. I mean, one of Denver's legendary podcasts, of course. Mile High Life. It's so cool just to be a part of the podcast scene, man. I don't take it for granted.
Drink it all.
There's
You
a little
drink it
bit.
all. We all
There's a
we all
little
drink
tiny
it all.
sip in there.
There's still a little bit left in there, but
Oh yeah, a little flavor.
yeah, man, JD, you're awesome, bro. I appreciate you having us on, inviting us over here. I love the setup, man. I love that you're investing in cameras and equipment and taking the show to the level that it is. I mean, we know the show is fantastic. So I'm super stoked for you, brother, man. And, look forward to seeing what's coming in the future.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much. I'll say be excellent to each other. Wakanda forever. And thanks for being on.
XOXO, baby.
Appreciate it.